Thank you, Sasha.
Take it away.
We will actually continue with the last question that Martin posed. So why to apply and what happens, what is the value add when you actually end up on the Deloitte Fast 50 CE? As Martin already mentioned, we have 3 guys from this list. Okay, we have Tamás Varga from Szallas, which is, I wanted to make a joke, Hungarian Airbnb or Hungarian B&B, but then he said we're more of a booking than Airbnb, so none of this joke was left. Then we have Kuba Filipowski down there, and Dawid Łaziński. So the numbers there at their faces is the ranking on the Deloitte 50 Fast 50 Tech CE. So we have the winner and the number 5 and number 6, and then Martin also helping us with the questions here. What I will first start with is, okay, to all of us, they're the winners. And by the way, I need to correct the lapses that you made. The average 600% is not per annum, but per 5 years. And also their numbers also, because, I mean, that might scare the shit out of everybody here, 600 growth rate per year, that's not manageable. And immediate comment when you made that mistake by Kuba was, we would not survive that. So basically, no, this is too much of a growth. 600% or 6-fold growth in 1 year is not something you want. Even they don't want that. Now their numbers, not written up there, but I will mention them a couple of times, are even bigger. So Szallas, or is Szallas, how do you pronounce it? Szallas. Okay, so Szallas grew in those 5 years, okay, so 5 year is the term. In those 5 years, they grew 22-fold. So the percentage is 2,200% growth. So they grew 22-fold in 5 years. So that's a growth. That's a really good growth. And both of other guys, Netguru and ITmagination, they grew in those 5 years till today 13-fold. So that's quite a good. So to us, to all of us, they're pretty much the winners. Okay. So they get all the value that Martin also mentioned, but they also get the value of getting invited to conferences like PODIM and then be in the limelight and so on and teach everybody else of us, how do they achieve it. But then again, they also need to have something from coming here. So the first question is, you 3 guys, because for Martin we already know, you had a presentation. Why are you guys here? What's your give and get from this particular conference? And when you will be driving or flying back home tomorrow, how will you know that your time spent 2 days here in Maribor was worth it for you? Because you already achieved it. You have 22 times growth, 13 times growth. So
I think it's similar. The reason is similar why we joined the ranking. For us, joining the ranking was one, vanity, of course. We wanted to be on the list. The second one was it creates these opportunities and it shows you stuff like the great American philosopher Donald Rumsfeld says, there are some stuff that you don't know that you don't know. So we are looking for this stuff here.
Okay. Tamás, maybe? You need to press.
Sorry. For us, the exposure such a conference is giving us and that people learn how to pronounce Szallas is already an amazing achievement and a great success and a great added value to the company. Besides that, we are also looking for inspiration. So the content of the conference itself is quite an actual issue for us as well on how to manage growth and innovation. And also we are looking to hopefully share some of our insights and experience with all those who are looking to develop a startup and to reach a similar growth.
All right, David?
Okay. Apart from what colleagues said here, the networking is an obvious thing. But our business is strictly related to services. So if we want to grow, we have to hire more people. And that's not the way to achieve a really, really fast growth. Our goal for the next years is to establish an IP, to build something or to acquire something. And while now we're already developed and already mature company, the one way of getting this IP to our company and increase its valuation is through, for example, acquiring, and that can be done by helping, for example, you guys. So you're looking for mentoring, you're obviously looking for money, and our company is a way to go. So if anyone has any idea I would like to share with, of course, and my colleagues as well, I'm sure, open to you.
So a possible scenario, you guys are still on the same list next year, but you will say in this conference or some other, the way we grew was also we acquired 2 companies from Slovenia or from other countries that have audience here. Now, the title of this panel is Achieving Product Market Fit and Managing Fast Growth. First, we will touch a little more specific on the product market fit. So basically, when we are asking you what you are doing right now, that you're so wildly successful on these numbers and on the list and so on, if you would say what you're doing right now would not be a good answer, because we should ask you what you were doing 3 to 5 years ago that made you successful as you are now. So basically, how did you find your product market fit like a couple of years ago? And if you would do it all over, what would you do differently?
Sure. So we are in the service business. So we are delivering software for our clients. Our clients are mostly startups from all over the world. And for the first couple of years, we actually didn't know what we were doing. Like we were looking for different ideas. We built a startup. We sold a startup. We were doing different stuff. And at some point, we focused on the services business, and we find out that this is something that we can really be good at. So focusing on the one thing was important part of our growth. The other parts where we were attacking like global market from the very beginning, like if you look growth-wise. So we learned how to sell and how to market ourselves to customers who are not in the same city or same country even as we are, and that was also a huge factor of our growth. And the third thing was a business model. We started charging by the hour, and we moved from like fixed price projects to time and material projects, and that changed completely. Like that changed the game completely. So, yeah.
Let me interrupt here. By the way, questions are allowed anytime. So if you don't understand something or if you want to expand, and by the way, if I would be in the audience right now, I would ask myself back, could you at least give a little bit of introduction what the companies are doing? Because we still don't know. So
sure, sorry.
No. That was the question of, let's say, a fictional person in the audience to me, because I forgot that. So basically, let me introduce them again. So Szallas, I already said they are pretty much the Hungarian booking.com. So no need for explanation. Netguru, they're pretty much a high growth, 100 plus now people, or 100 plus people, yeah. Ruby on Rails development team with a lot of customers around the world and a couple of development centers, and they are totally open. We're going to touch on them. While ITmagination is also obviously a high growth company focused on Microsoft technology. Again, development company focused on Microsoft technology. So we have Ruby, we have Microsoft, and we have Booking Hungarian style. So these are the companies with really good numbers. So now back to the question. Szallas, how did you find your product market fit? You probably didn't start with this, or you did?
No, the company itself was founded by 2 private individuals, actually still university students or just graduating. And previously they were developing websites, and they were also developing a website for a hotel owner. And the source of inspiration for Szallas itself came from such a discussion that there would actually be a need for such a platform within Hungary at that time. So Booking was still not present, now that we mentioned them so many times, on the Hungarian market. And there was also from the hotel side and the user side, there was some demand for such a platform as the crisis was starting. Price-value combinations in terms of hotel bookings were gaining more, let's say, significance. And also hotels were looking for some kind of solution that would bring them more guests within the years of the economic crisis. This was basically the story.
Thank you. Now, you need to tell me if I'm not supposed to mention Booking too many times here on stage while you're here with me. So that might be an issue.
You did it again.
Okay, I'm not going to mention it again. So ITmagination, your product market fit, how did you start?
Me and my 2 friends, we also started our business during our graduating years. and we presented ourselves with a question, what we can do, what we can sell to other people. And the answer was simple. We know how to create .NET applications. Simple as that. No sexy thing in that. But we decided to start up a company and provide these services to others, because if we can do it, why can't we earn money from it? Yes, and there are two big decisions that we made, and we're satisfied with them. The first thing is to focus strictly on Microsoft technologies. We don't do other things. We don't do Java, we don't do PHP and other stuff. Not because we don't like it or we think they're worse, just because we need to focus on something. You have to be good at something, one thing. And the second decision is that we focus on big customers, big enterprises, international enterprises. We don't do things for small companies. And those two decisions paid very well, and we're satisfied with them. So you need to focus. You can't do everything at once. Just make one thing, grow, and then switch to another thing.
Now, none of you actually touched the last question, so if you do it again, so backtrack to the 0 second, what would you actually do differently, or was it perfect?
I will start this time. As Kuba said, we also switched to the time and material model, so we try not to do any fixed price projects right now. And what I would do, I would make this shift, this pivot earlier. That will mean losing probably some of the clients who can understand this model, who don't like this model, but this model is better. And if you can find customers who are willing to go along with it, that's a good decision. So this, if I want to change something, I would switch to time and material in early stage.
For us, it was working remotely with clients from all over the world. Like, we've started with Polish customers only, and right now I don't see any reason why you should start thinking about only one market, niche market in one geographic location. There is no reason for that with internet platform and all the communication tools that you have right now. So focusing on the one market, generally not a good idea.
I joined the company 2 years ago, so I wasn't there at the beginning, so I did some asking around what we would do differently. And the response basically was that there's nothing that we could have known in advance that we should do it differently. So actually learning from our mistakes was kind of a process of the organic company growth. But probably if I had to outline one thing, that would be the focus that we both mentioned, that it happened quite often that we have a lot of ideas that we were passionate about, that we wanted to realize, but actually we had to learn that if you don't actually assign the resources to such projects that will be capable of carrying it to the end, then they will remain basically ideas even for years or months to come, and then they will just frustrate the organization that they are there, but they are never actually completed.
Okay, out of those set of answers, you kind of guessed that we have two distinct guests here. So Kuba and Dawid are among the co-founders of their respective companies, while Tamás joined. So there might be a little differences in the answers, but he did his research, so the answers will be perfectly relevant. So let's move on. That's actually leading to the previous question. If there's anything to add, were there any iterations, any pivots in your business model that you could point out, or was pretty much everything already said in the previous round of questions?
So, as I said, we started with fixed price, one market, and the biggest pivot was switching to time and material and global market. And it sounds like such a no-brainer right now. But it completely changed everything for us in terms of like company culture, the way we are working right now with our employees, how we structure the work. We are 100% remote, so everyone can work from wherever he or she wants. So we have people in Berlin working for us. We had people working from India with us. We had people from Israel working for us. So all these different places. And our clients are also from some exotic location. We had clients from Trinidad and Tobago, Lebanon, we're still working with them. So there are so many opportunities if you are looking at the global market rather than being focused only on this 40 million Polish market. It doesn't make sense to do that, basically.
Maybe not pivoting, but the real important milestone happened, like is struck at about 2 or 3 years after establishing company, is the moment where your child maybe is not grown up, but it's big enough so you can't handle it yourself, so you have to delegate. And that was the hardest part for us as an owners, to trust other people that they will make things and do your work. Maybe not as good as you would like it to be done, but good enough. So there comes a moment after, for example, 2 or 3 years when you need to let some things go and trust the other people. That was the biggest, I think, changer in my mindset.
So not that much on the market side, but more on internally. But we will touch actually on this topic a little later on.
Kuba has mentioned in his previous reply that focusing on one market geographically is not necessarily the best idea in the long run. Well, we did that with domestic Hungarian tourism, so this was our core focus, at least at the beginning, and this is what we are still the best at. But the point came when we needed to start shifting towards international tourism, because, well, most of the time we are compared to Booking anyway, and they are providing opportunities everywhere in the world, also for Hungarian tourists. So Kuba has just told me that he learned from Booking because of his business travel before we had the talk, before the panel, and then he used it for his private life because from his business travel experience he got used to it. So we started this shift toward international travel 1 or 2 years ago with already some delay, but this was definitely a learning that we had, that for to be competitive in the long run, we needed to move towards other markets as well, simply to keep our core market also.
All right, now we're moving from nailing it, from getting to the product market fit, from all the iteration, because you obviously did it. You have this growth. So basically, when I asked around a couple of people, what would you ask these really immensely high growth companies? And one of my friends said, ask them, did they experience the crossing the chasm moment? So basically you had early adopters, and then when you go big, you need to go to the early majority and the mainstream. So how did that look for you?
So I think we are still in the middle of it, and we are thinking about it, about this chasm thing, and about like our customers, that we need to make ourselves more repeatable. So it's more about kind of input-output kind of approach, but yeah, it's definitely something that we are working on right now, and I think the biggest challenge is to optimize all these 100 things that you need to optimize to make your input-output kind of approach working. So you always have these bottlenecks that you need to deal with, and every bottleneck has like 100 parts. So you need to optimize every single one of those parts couple of percent to have like this huge outcome of doing something much more smoothly. So I think going with this kind of lean approach, lean development approach is a very good way to do. And if you are willing to constantly improve yourself and constantly improve your company, I think it's the only way to cross this moment.
For us, for the Hungarian domestic market at least, this stage happened in around 2012, 2013, when, let's say, the first 1 or 2 years of the development of the company was mostly busy with actually getting the product out on the market and starting to gather properties on it, and also with a lot of manual work day and night to get it really functional. And then we quickly arrived to the point when it really started picking up that we needed some kind of mass marketing to push it towards really an established brand on the Hungarian market. When Sanoma bought 50% of the company, this was a great addition to this. So Sanoma is Hungary's second largest media company with a wide online and print reach as well. So with the support of this portfolio and also with national TV campaign and outdoor campaigns and so on. We used kind of mass scale marketing basically to establish ourselves as the Hungarian brand for online travel within Hungary. And then we have our new markets, such as international travel. We will have our first TV campaign this year promoting traveling everywhere for Hungarians. And then we are looking to enter new markets as well. We will be setting up a branch in Poland soon. Then we will probably encounter this stage once again with different markets. How we are going to handle that, we don't know yet, but hopefully well.
I recognize this change more as a mental change, because when you're growing up a company, first you have a lot of fun, you spend your all spare time working for this company, and this company grows. At the same time you're getting older, you're getting married, you're getting children and so on, and the time comes when you're really, really tired and you're thinking, what do I get out of it? So you need money, for example, to raise your own family and so on. And there comes time where you start looking at your own company not through the fun, but through the figures in Excel, profit and loss and so on. You start behaving like a big bad capitalist. But I think that's a good thing, because the company can grow further if you do not look at it like through these figures, through the Excel files. And that's the moment I think that will come to every company and to every venture. But that's good, because if you look through the money and you get the money out of it, you have time and resources to start new things and develop new ideas. And the process go on and on. That's my perspective.
Yeah, for me it's also like running the company is very much similar as writing a code, writing a piece of software. So you have this, and if you have some bugs in your software, you cannot ignore them, and you cannot kind of avoid dealing with them. And to deal with them, you need to dig into the details. So we have this saying that we only think about strategy like 4 times a year, and all the other times we should be focusing on the little things. And I think that's the best way to run the company. So don't focus too much on the strategy. It's good to have some goals and good to do stuff in the right market and stuff like that. But every day you need to fix some small stuff. So that's most important.
Okay, we have a question from the audience. Alexis.
Hi, I'm Alexis again. I've just read a very nice book on branding, and what from your first question about product market fit, what is very interesting for me now is that you were not describing your products in terms of features. You were not even describing your companies in terms of benefits to the user, to your customers, but you were talking about brands, and you were comparing about other brands, Ruby on Rails, Booking.com, then there was the net.co, and so on and so on. All was about brands. And do you think that if you do it right from the very start, does it help you cross the chasm better? And when did you switch in your product market fit process from product description to benefit description to brand?
So for us in service development, brand is one of the important values. We do a lot of content marketing, and we're using our knowledge and sharing it with our potential customers or potential employees. And I think like building this content strategy from the very beginning is important. But I'm not an expert on brand management and stuff like that, so I'm not sure like what do you mean by creating brand from the very beginning, other than doing the best work that you can do and sharing information about the stuff that you're doing.
For us as a B2C brand, well, I have to admit very honestly that we are not very theoretically prepared, I think, from several parts of brand communication, or have been from the beginning. So we had campaigns which worked, we had campaigns which did not, but we still haven't drafted a brand personality nowadays, which some marketing books would suggest or so. In several cases, it just relied on instincts and on what we perceived as might be good on the Hungarian market. So we had related marketing activities such as launching a baby photo competition on Facebook where people could upload pictures about babies and vote for them, which has nothing to do with travel, but it reached about, 10,000 people with email addresses and so on, and then a lot of votes for the babies themselves. So it was mostly on instinctive basis. Definitely, I think with a more comprehensive approach to marketing, you can increase the efficiency to answer the question, but it's not always a need to have to make it, I think, very efficient. So if you can feel what's good for the respective market to make it really known to the public, the brand name at least, and like generally what is it, then it's already a good thing you can achieve.
Since the beginning, we wanted our brand, ITmagination, to be recognized in a specific way. We always wanted to be recognized as the biggest and best Microsoft Technologies partner in the region. And I'm proud to say that I think we achieved it, because in Poland we're definitely the biggest business intelligence, Microsoft Business Intelligence Solutions partner. I don't know about the region, but in Poland definitely. And the biggest employee for Microsoft.NET developers. And that's for sure. So we always wanted to do it. We always wanted to be recognized in that way, and we achieved that. Also, two other things. From the perspective of the client, we always wanted to be recognized as professionals, and that's why when we sold our services, we sold it at a specific rate. We didn't lower our rate. We always valued our work. And from the perspective of our future employees, we always wanted to be recognized as a company where you work with the latest cutting-edge technologies. So we always encourage our clients to create their products and to order our services and to be created in the latest technologies, so our employees can utilize them and not stuck with some technologies like, I don't know, Windows Forms from 7 years ago and so on. And that's the recognition we get right now, I think.
If I can also add to the answer to the first question here, so what did they come here for? Wanting or not, what they're doing is either brand building in this audience or brand strengthening of each of their companies, because they are on the Deloitte 50 Fast CE companies. That's it. Like they're the badass Microsoft company. They're the badass Ruby company in this region. That's it. No need to explain, because this is the Fast 50 Deloitte list, and that's it. They don't need to explain it. I mean, we're going to talk for half a more hour, but because they're on the list, you will say to them, if I'm searching for Ruby people in the region or in Poland, I'm going to go for them. So that would be the brand building, probably, also, yeah? Now, it also goes for Deloitte. Now, a really honest question, honest answer from your side. What does Deloitte get from all this? I mean, you have the exposure here from the stage, yeah? But then again, none of these three companies are your clients, if I understand, right? So what do you get out of it, building every year this Deloitte 550 and so on?
Well, actually, it's quite easy, I would say. I mean, we kind of have to build our eminence also, and we have to be connected with the industry, any kind of industry. And this is just one of, we have a lot of initiatives in Deloitte. We're also a company that grows very fast, or at least we were growing very fast and we are still growing. And if you want to achieve that, one of the things you have to think is to think what will happen tomorrow. And this is just one of the initiatives, one of the side products. We actually do not, we don't get any money out of it, of course not, but it's kind of a publicity, and it's getting new partners, because of course getting or preparing such lists and helping companies that are on the beginning of their life today, when they will be big and when they will need our help, I'm pretty much sure that we are going to be the one that they will contact.
I'm pretty sure that Dawid will use Deloitte for due diligence for the Slovenian startups that he's going to acquire, so yeah.
No, from my perspective, Deloitte and this whole competition, it's a win-win situation because you get if you win, you get the recognition, you have a logo or something you can put on your business card on a website, simple as that. But because of what Deloitte does, it consults companies, it helps other big companies to achieve their goals, but Deloitte for itself is not a software company. So when they go to a client and they facilitate some kind of process, or for example, they tell them, you have to, I don't know, develop some kind of system, through this program, Deloitte can build a network of companies that can be involved into this process. So this is a win-win situation, a synergy. Yes, we have a Deloitte who can tell about our company to its clients, and Deloitte has companies which he can present to its clients. So that's how I see it.
Okay, enough of just bragging from the stage. Question from first row, as promised.
As promised. I'm an angel, so I give you the perspective of an investor. Growth is a very good index, but sometimes we investors, we are scared, because the more you grow, the more money you have to inject. Martin, Deloitte. Sometimes you measure not only the growth, but the creation of the value. I mean, they had a company that was 100,000 euros value pre-money, and now is possible 10x or 20x, because the angels are very happy and they come to the earth for the exit, not to inject the money.
So was there a specific question or just a comment?
Specific is, do you measure the value of your
also.
company?
Okay.
Because you measure the growth, 268 times in 5 years. But when you started, what was your value? And now, what is your value? Or, question to Martin, will you add next PODIM a list of creation of value and exit 50 times, 80 times?
Okay, thank you. Thanks for your question. Probably you're thinking more about the value of the company as it is in euros, what the value of the company is. Yeah. Okay, valuation process of companies is a very complex thing that takes a lot of time. So for now, I mean, we're not preparing the valuations of the companies that are listed on the Fast 50 or other rankings that I mentioned. It could be a value added to the ranking. I agree. We may think about it, but probably I don't see much value of just getting numbers of this. Might be even maybe this wouldn't be accepted good to the audience, because then they would just, you know, sometimes people are hungry, oh, how much somebody is worth. You know, in Slovenia we have this 100 richest people in Slovenia, and of course it shows something, but for many times it's used for different and not so good purposes. So for now.
This is the difference from silicon.
I know, but in Central Europe, for now, we are not thinking about valuing these companies because it's too complex, and we believe that it would not add so much value to the ranking. In Silicon Valley, the list is longer, and their budget for preparing it is much higher, and they're getting much more out of it. So probably this is the reason.
Maybe meeting in a middle way instead of valuations. You should add profitability. Okay, revenue growth is one thing, profitability is the other thing, and I bet all three companies are profitable, because even the unicorns that we mentioned today, you know, many of them would not enter the list if the profitability would be there, because some of the unicorns are still losing money, a lot of it. So that might be also it. Okay, thank you. There's one more question there.
Hi, I'm Tamara from Infinum, and last year we were ranked on 9th place on Deloitte. I'm interested in what about structure and organization in the companies? Like we had big issues with that, like moving 3 times to bigger offices, organization between teams, and all this. What really bother us and we have problem with. So if you can, please comment this from your side experience. Thank you.
Thank you for stealing the question. Actually, I had it prepared. So basically, you already mentioned it twice. So necessity of more structured organization when you're growing up against wanting to keep the spirit of a more, flat startup-ish vibe as you all started. So how do you tackle this? Who's helping you? Are you helping somebody? How are you learning? What works, what doesn't? So this kind of question. Organization, structure, when you're growing, the growing pains.
Of course, we started as a completely flat company. Me and my friends, we were once doing the coding and stuff. But right now, the company is, we can say, it has 4 layers. On top, you have, of course, the management who deals with the overall company growth. Then we have different departments, or as we call them, programs. The one program deals with business intelligence, the other deals with software development, the other with enterprise collaboration and SharePoint development. And on top of each of these departments or programs, there's a program manager who is responsible for the P&L of his department. He's responsible for attracting customers and closing the deals, and is rewarded for the income and revenue of his own department. And for the projects to go to be overseen, he has team leaders who are also rewarded for their own projects' revenue and income. And that's the 3rd layer, and the 4th layer are the employees who do the actual work and who make this company grow. So it may seem like a big one, these 4 layers, but that's the structure that actually works, and there's no need to scale it vertically. More, we can scale it horizontally by adding other departments and other ideas. For example, if we decided to go for the mobile development, we just create a new department, call it mobile development, hire or promote a manager, and the whole structure is applied in that place. Is it helping out? Yes, it is helping out, because you don't have time and strength to do it by yourself. So you, as I said before, you need to trust other people. You have to hire other people. You can't do it everything by yourself. Are there any problems with that? Of course there are problems, because of this structure you have to trust that someone will do his job, and obviously sometimes your employees don't do what you expect them to do, and that creates problems. The resolution to this is to find a common goal. What is a common goal for us as an owners, for our program managers, and for team leaders? To close the project, to close the deal with the success. So each part, us as an owners and program managers and team leaders, should profit from the good deal, from the good project. And we created such a system that everyone in this structure is rewarded simply once a year for his profit and loss. And in that way we all have the same goal, and there's no misunderstanding about what is expected from our employees.
I think it's like, when you create a company, it's like falling down the cliff and you need to build a plane during the downfall. So it's kind of difficult, and you're changing stuff all the time. So the structure changed all the time, and like last year we started the year with 50 employees, and we finished it with 100. So our company was changing, like every half a year we were like completely different company, and you need to adapt to this growth, and you need to change your structure accordingly. And you just follow what works, basically.
A little disclaimer. You went from 50 to 100. Actually, as I was preparing for Netguru was really easy because they write up most of their best practices just on the blog, and you can read most of the stuff that we're going to talk here about how they are solving on the blog, and they have actually a full blog post about how they grew from 50 to 100, what the issues were, how are they tackling it, and so on. So it's a very good resource.
I would divide the question of structuring into three, let's say, categories. One is structuring the organization itself. Second would be creating backend systems that enable a higher scale of operation, so some kind of more structured workflow, and then structuring the workflows themselves. So the way this looked for us, as I mentioned, we had a bigger marketing push around 2012, 2013, which resulted that we had a lot of visitors on the website, and then our brand awareness was like this, and our conversion of the website was like this. So the number of bookings that we could get actually out of so many visitors started to decrease at some point. We needed to focus a bit more on product development, and as a prerequisite of this, we needed to establish second-line management within the company. And this was the point when different departments were actually created, such as marketing, development, so on and so on. Before that, everything was managed by the managing directors, basically, so people were more or less reporting to them, but this was not scalable anymore. And then the heads of these departments basically became responsible for bringing required adjustments in backend systems also, so such as developing a Google AdWords API that would enable you to more automatically manage millions of keywords, or to introduce a more efficient invoicing system, such things. And they were responsible for actually executing these projects, and then also for fine-tuning the workflows or introducing new workflows related to these new systems and the new departments.
I think when you're thinking about structure, it's interesting to do kind of thought experiment, like will the thing that we're doing right now work if we are twice that size? And you need to work on the stuff that from the thought experiment will show you that they probably won't work. So if you have a I don't know, company-wide meeting in your in one of your offices every Monday, and you grew from, I don't know, 10 people to 50, it probably won't scale, and you probably need to change something. So thinking about the final goal and looking at the stuff that you need to optimize to be able to achieve it, it's a good thing to do.
All right, the growth. So we have a picture here, and then there's also a good Prezi. By the way, it's also a Hungarian company of the growth of FTEs and revenue and so on. So it's a breakneck speed in growth of employees. So we touched on this and the structurization of the companies. But then again, you need to find, going from 50 to 100, you need to find 50 people in a year. So how do you do that? How do you tackle this? How are you managing it? How you were and still are, because you guys are still growing.
Well, first of all, we started using a more professional HR system. So earlier it was emails and then Google Drives and Maps, so folders, and then everything scattered everywhere. And then we started introducing using an actual HR system that enables you to manage applications from one interface, and then create actually a database out of your CVs and the skills of the different applicants, so that you can track them back if you have later another opening for the same position. So to, let's say, ensure a more smooth process for recruitment. This is one thing. The other thing is that we are recruiting a full-time HR colleague, of course, so adding more resource in terms of human resources to the company. And then in terms of maintaining employees, we have some challenges, such as to maintain information flow within the company. We have some initiatives for that, like launching a Facebook group with communicating with everyone, like in a more direct way. Also a company blog. We have annual corporate satisfaction survey, where even on small things such as putting a bike rental thing in front of the office should be completed, then we follow up on that, and then we try to pay attention to actually deliver these things so that people are still satisfied and still feel happy within the company itself.
Before you two guys go, I was provoked on the Twitter. I was watching there that I'm not as edgy as I was last year. Now, if we have ply jobs in this room, do we have ply jobs in this room? We do. So if I don't get a question to these guys in the next 5 minutes, I'm totally disappointed because they're talking about your topic and you need to ask them, do you have problems with how you are solving the high growth issue, onboarding, CVs, la la la, okay? A question, but after they explain how they are doing it, okay? Edgy enough, I saw.
So for us, hiring is a very similar process to how we do sales and marketing. And it's an easy way to think about it. So we need to attract potential candidates to be able to recruit new people. And if you think about sales and marketing, your marketing materials need to be interesting enough to attract new opportunities, and your sales process should be smooth enough to be able to close those deals. And it's a very same thing with hiring in our experience. So you need to be very approachable for your candidates, reply to their emails, be very open and transparent of how what they can expect from you and what they should be focusing on when they're applying for us, and that's it. So sales and marketing, I think it's the best way to attract new the same with customers and the same with potential employees.
Of course, the problem can be divided into two matters. The first thing is how to keep the employees you already have, how to make them happy, how to make them stay in your company and not to go to the competition. And you do this by various things, like, I don't know, benefits, certificates, some kind of events, I don't know, buying them alcohol, whatever they need. Yes, they're pretty straightforward when you ask them, what do you want? And they just give you a huge list of what they want, and it's your choice whether you can afford it or not. And when you go to the bottom of this list, they have a new one for you, so be prepared for that. And the other thing is how to attract new employees, because we're managing a fast growth, so we need a lot of people, and there's not enough good specialists on the market. Not like my colleague here, we decided to build our own HR and recruitment process within the company. We made a decision, I think, in the second year of our history. First by hiring one person to do the research, gather CVs from portals like, I don't know, LinkedIn or your country-specific variations of LinkedIn. We have, for example, in Poland, we have a golden line, I believe, in every country there's something like LinkedIn. And this one person grew to the whole department, where there are now 5 people constantly browsing the market, gathering CVs, placing ads, and building our own database. Right now we have a database of over 3,000 .NET and BI specialists, and that pays out right now, because whenever we need someone, we just call all the people we have on the list, ask them if they want to change the company, and come to us and get known with our offering. That was also a smart move, because when we calculated the cost of acquiring a new specialist, if we do it through the external company, that would mean that acquiring a new person is a cost of about 3,000 to 4,000 euros. Internally, we do it for 1,000 euros, so it all adds up.
Now, I was just notified by Blaž that our time was cut by 10 minutes, so we only have a couple of minutes, and we have some questions for you, but first I expect a question from Apply Jobs. So is there a mic there?
This work? Okay. First, thank you, Matej, for mentioning
This will be customer discovery in front of 200 people with 3 customers here.
Yeah, okay. Well, Matej didn't tell you, so both of all 3 of you are probably asking at this moment what is Apply Jobs, and actually it's easy applicant tracking system. But since we are talking, the both of you are, let's say, you're working with .NET, you're working with Ruby, so you were both able to build something like this on your own. But you said that you built your own, let's say, product for hiring. How much time did it take, and how would you evaluate this time and money that you spent on building this application? Yeah, for you.
That's simple. I just take the whole budget for this HR department, all the salaries, year salaries for all these 5 people that work there, and I divide it by the number of people I acquire this year. So for example, I don't know, the budget of the department is, just making out of my head right now, 1,000 euros, yes, and I acquired 100 people in that year. So 100,000 through 100, that means 1,000 per person, as simple as that.
Okay.
Well, we never built any software. We don't have software for that.
You guys will need to continue offline because we only have 2 more minutes, but we're going to take one more question, and then we're going to wrap up with the last question with Martin.
Yes, so it's working. So the question is how to hire the best of the best people, because when you want to hire those people, money is often not the only thing they are go for. So we have been recently hired by a large German company where they wanted to build an online presence where they will show their company culture. So it's like with Google. So if you join us, you have all those fun stuff and you play games with us. So do you use something like that to attract the best of the best people?
Sure. Yeah, you need to do everything. So yeah, but I think like the most important part is like great people want to work with other great people. So make sure that people that you already have and yourself, you know, meeting the standard. And that's the main reason people are joining our company, I think. They want to work with the best Ruby guys out there, and we have the best ones, so.
Okay, short answer.
Okay, you don't have to hire the best people because they're also the most expensive people. You have to hire the people that you can make profit on, and they don't have to be the best. You can also hire students or graduates. They're not the best in market, but 2 of them can make you profit. So you don't have to be the Series A or any top league. You have to make your product look like that and being that, but you can make it not only through the best of the best, but moderate people also can do that.
Okay, closing remarks. I mean, to me, this is painful, okay? There's 0 here. And we saw that there were actually 2 applicants only out of, I don't know how many. And we know that from Croatia there were 14. So what can we do now here from the stage, because we have candidates here, and I'm sure we have companies in Slovenia that are, you know, meeting the thresholds. What can we do? Like first from you, and then really short from all 3 of you, to Slovenian and other startups here and companies. Do apply because, really short. Okay.
Yes, I really strongly believe that you will benefit out of the application itself. Okay, well, application is one thing, then you have to be analyzed and if you will be ranked. But benefits that I mentioned is really positive media, network building, getting to the right people. I mean, this, you will all need this when you will grow. Because why? I mean, when you grow, the day will come when somebody will want to eat you. You will need some help with that. That's why you have to have a network of people. You will need resources like depth, etc. That's why you need networking. So this is, I think that Deloitte Fast 50 ranking helps.
Okay, just one quick question from each. Do apply because
it's fun to be on the ranking. It's definitely something that it's a best possible context, I think, that you can have.
It's not like you have anything to lose. It's not going to be like
Good one.
Someone's going to laugh at you that you didn't win. So
yeah, we don't know about the yeah.
You just spend a few hours to create a balance sheet and send it to Deloitte. And if you don't win, you don't win.
Cool. Tamás.
Yeah, it's very exciting to wait for the results, and it's a fantastic achievement if you get a good result and something you can be proud of. So.